Miss Student. I was just secreting the premier prize.
You ought to be careful. The blood could well go to your head.
Yes, but the wafer-thin gentleman's watch with the perpetual calendar must be put in some place of temptation, at the bottom of the lucky dip.
I do think it's an awfully good idea. It's very original.
Well, it's a good point of sales display with a hint of something for nothing. But I don't want Mrs. Sharples to get the best prize on her first surface swoop, as we say, so to the bottom it goes. The last of the wine.
What's that?
It's a cocktail cherry dish, printed with the ingredients for mixing a gin sling and a Pacific passion fruit cocktail. 9 worth of nonsense. Might give Mr. Tatlock a lift.
Can I give you a hand?
Oh, thank you.
I must say you've come on tremendously, Mr. Swindley, if you don't mind me saying.
Oh, in what particular direction, Miss Newton?
Well, you used to sneer at all this American selling, all the, what shall we say, ballyhoo.
Oh, well, one changes, Miss Student, one changes.
You used to say you were happiest in your father's time, when everything was in little drawers all round the walls.
Well, I did hope, I must confess, to retain the image of the gentleman draper, but one must go out into the marketplace of life, Miss Nugent.
Yes, it seems a pity.
The race is now to the swiftest, Miss Nugent, not to the man who tips his hat to his creditors in the street.
I sometimes feel life is galloping. We can't keep in step.
It isn't the pace at which we conduct our lives which matters in the final accounting, Miss Nugent. It's the depth.
I quite agree.
Life is rather like this brand tub, you know. Work only at the swift and shallow level, and you find yourself clutching a mere plastic toy. Dig deep into the heart of things, you'll find a gent's wristlet watch.
Oh, you're so right, Mr. Swindley. I've never liked shallow people.
I may seem a little slick, even a little cynical in my approach to selling these days, Miss Nugent, but I have kept one part of me immune from commerce. My roots are still deep.
I've always admired you for it. We were talking to evening class the other night about that sort of thing.
Don't you detect a certain air of stillness? How shall I put it, the vacuum of January? Christmas over, all purpose gone. Only the long, bleak winter months ahead, as though humanity had turned its back on the prospect and withdrawn into some frozen shell, till the first sweet blooms of spring raised their little heads.
Good morning. Has your sale started yet?
Oh, well, Mrs. Calder, we're getting geared up, if you'll pardon the expression.
There's a policeman on a white horse outside Bailey's. The queue's that big.
Well, I'm sure they can't equal our prices.
Well, they got a fur coat in the window for 50 shillings.
Oh, that is simply what we call in the business a come-on, Mrs. Caldwell. I think you'll find that the small shopkeeper will serve you better at sale time than the multiples.
What rubbish is he trying to offload on you now?
Oh, hello, Ena. There's a lovely jumper in the window, marked down to 9 and 11.
Oh, it's marked all down the side and all. It's got a rust stain as long as my leg on the left armpit.
That, Mrs. Sharples, is a mere trick of the light.
It's a trick of yours, Len and Swindley, and I've got a bone to pick with you.
Have you, Ena?
I thought you were supposed to be keeping me posted of the happenings at Liberty Hall.
Oh, at Len Fair Club.
It was just an accident that I happened to be passing, and a good job and all.
Why, Ena, what have I missed?
You've missed a woman who looks up to no good moving in with him. Luggage and all.
Oh.
Will it be all right then, love? I mean, just say the word if it isn't, you know.
Oh, it'll be quite suitable, thank you, Mr. F.
No, I mean the room, you know, because it's...
Oh, you'll
been
find I'm
intended
not one to
decorate
make
in the last
demands.
few
I
weeks,
like to
but,
think
you
of
know,
myself as a visitor.
Don't
And
get
as
into
such,
these
I
things.
think you'll find me very reasonable.
Yeah. Leave your case here, love, go straight through.
I do think it's important to get things on a proper footing right from the start, don't you?
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I'm sorry it's such a tip. It's more like starting from scratch, really, isn't it?
Oh, wheel buckle, too.
Funny how you let things slide, though, when you're living by yourself, isn't it?
Oh, I know you men. My late husband was just the same, always throwing things anywhere, but it was never one to fuss like.
No, there's no point, is there? Just carry on the usual way.
Oh, I think a man should have his comfort. I mean, it's no use running round after him with a dustpan.
No, it wouldn't make any difference, would it? Let him lead him to it.
I know me place, Mr. F. If a man can't be master in his own home, it's a poor do.
It's not all that easy getting a mug these days.
You're absolutely right, Mrs. Ogden. All the same, you know, there are certain standards I feel one should aim for.
Ah, well, no woman wants to go through her life on her hands and knees, mopping and scrubbing. I only do it 'cause I'm simple. I don't know no better.
Not a job to be ashamed of. The customers appreciate what you do, love, even if Mr. Walker and I sometimes fail to give you your due.
Oh, no, I'm just saying I'm a dying breed.
Oh, I don't know. Service is a very splendid profession. I don't mind telling you that my Auntie Polly was in service most of her life. She used to be a maid for Mr. Lally of Lally's Mill. You know, when he had that big house on Peach Lane.
Of course, now women can get light assembly jobs and all that. There's no odds on housekeeping and waiting on.
And she had one afternoon off a week. She was a prisoner in that house. Coal board offices now.
Len Fairclough's lucky to get anybody to muck out after him.
All I'm saying, dear, is that you would think a nicer class of person would offer themselves as housekeepers.
Well, of course, I don't know what she's like. It's only what Mrs. Sharple's told me. And she only saw her from a distance.
Hope she's an improvement on that awful April. The minute I saw her, I said straight off to Mr. Walker, didn't I, Jack? I said a divorcee.
You said she was man hungry. That's what you said.
A professional divorcee, a home wrecker.
You said she was the kind of person who hasn't known where to put herself since the Yanks left Burton Wood.
And I stand by every word I said. What impels a woman like that to apply for a post as housekeeper? That dreadful sweater.
Well, he didn't get her after all.
I think we ought to look at this a bit from Len's point of view. If he's getting housekeeper for the winter, he might just as well get one with a bit of meat on her.
Do you mind expanding on that?
Well, I mean, if she can look a bit... Well, if she's worthwhile looking at while she's cleaning under the sink...
You know, Jackson is second childhood where women are concerned. The other day he read an article and he said to me that he thought we ought to get an au pair girl.
Oh, you monkey!
I didn't at all. I only said that the Swedes are good workers.
Yes, well, no Swede is coming into this public house with her long hair and advanced ideas. What you want is a woman who'll stand for no nonsense.
I've got one.
I think you'll find I'm right in the end, Mr. Adams.
No, I'm not arguing. No, I'm just saying I got used to it where it was, you see.
Oh, it'll be much easier to clean there.
Can't we just leave it, though?
Well, just try it my way. I'm very experienced in household management. You'll find very little to complain in my work, if you don't mind me saying so.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get under your feet, you know, love.
Well, I'd just like to know where everything is. A place for everything and everything in its place.
Yeah, well, I want to give you your head because this place needs a woman, doesn't it?
Let's move that sofa away from the wall.
Well, no, it's always been there, love.
But it's all cramped and pokey.
Well, no, let's leave it alone, shall we?
It's marking the wall badly.
Well, I prefer it where it is.
Just try it over this way. If you don't like it, I'll say no more.
Okay. Up on it, then, that's it.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I'll come back.
What do you want?
Are you doing a flip?
Aye, what do you want?
Good morning.
Oh, it's open day today, is it?
We've come down to see you about match.
Yes, mate. We wondered if you were going away with him.
It's only 8 in the kick-on coach.
You have eckers like come about the match. We never book till Friday, you know that.
Oh, we're walking this way, you see. We thought we'd come in and say hello. Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'll see you two at the dispensary at dinner time.
Are you settling down then, eh?
You're giving him the run around, are you? You don't want to take any of his lip. My name's Tatlock.
Stan Ogden.
Oh, I'm Mrs. Gee.
We thought we'd do a bit of neighbouring, you know.
You can neighbour off.
I see you're getting a grip on him then. That's what he wants, you know, jumping on a bit.
It's a nice place, this, isn't it?
Cushy job, eh?
Well, I'll just go and see to these curtains. Pardon me.
You know, Big Oggy, you're going to get one up the nostril any minute.
Oh, we only come round to see the lie of the land, didn't we, Albert?
You know, I'm thinking about getting a companion myself.
You old ram. Laying it on. In your own house.
With a woman, is she?
You can't whack a nice little widow, can you? I mean, they're so grateful, aren't they? For job, I mean.
Ta very much. He's a bit hard on buttons.
Yes. Is it still as cold outside?
Oh, do you know, I never noticed. Funny time of year, January, isn't it? Neither one thing nor the other.
How strange. Mr. Swindley was saying exactly the same thing.
Was it?
Well, not in those words exactly, but the thought was very similar.
Yes.
Hey, Ogden, you keep your husband out of my house, eh?
It's now to do with me, lad. He goes where he pleases.
I know he does.
Hey, what's it like being married again?
You get one around the chops if you're not careful, love. Will you give us 7 yards, that curtain material in your window, love?
Yes.
And no cracks.
We've cut it by 7p a yard.
Yes.
You're going to knit your new vest out of that lot, then?
It makes very nice curtains for its weight.
I'll take it, love.
Getting you sorted out, is she? Getting you tidied up, eh? You know, I thought she'd have combined for you.
I want to know where my money's going. If I'm lashing out, I want to pay cash.
Ah, Mr. Fairclough.
Morning.
Now, you look like a sporting gent.
You what?
I see that you have cash in your hand, and that makes you a cash customer, which in turn makes you eligible for the Gamma Garment Grab.
What are you on about?
Well, we've opened our Monster Lucky Dip. Buy with Gamma and take the plunge.
What, in here?
No, in here.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Ah, may I be the first to congratulate you?
Just what I need, isn't it? Yeah, I never wanted it. When you lash out, you certainly lash out, don't you?
Spin of the wheel, Leonard. Hair grips today, tomorrow the world. Rien ne va plus, ladies and gentlemen, to coin a phrase. Mrs. Ogchop, can I...
Oh, I don't mind jumping in.
Yes.
Hello.
Ah, conscious.
Now, Mr. Swindley, I'm afraid our fears are confirmed.
Oh, that's it.
Closure?
Yes, I'm afraid so. I wish you'd been at the meeting with me. You might have raised your voice with mine.
Well, yes. Gamma had prior claim to my time, I'm afraid. Mr. Papakopoulos is getting very touchy about my extramural activities. Has it been decided?
Yes, Gas Street Gospel Hall closes on the 31st. Fairdo Supermarket is interested in the site.
Tragic.
And that's not all. We merged the Glad Tidings and the Bold Street Mission. The committee feels that congregations are too small to keep both halls open.
Which one is to close? The Glad Tidings?
The committee can't decide. One of them will have to go.
Yes. Well, I think we should inform the caretakers.
Yes, I suppose so. You know, it's going to be quite a wrench. They might get very upset.
They might get very ugly.
I've got her.
So first dip I had, I just got these slave bangles.
Hey, listen to this. Houses freed from control. Question 9. What rent is payable under a new tenancy? Answer. That is for the tenant to agree with the landlord and must depend on the value of the house.
So then I jumped in again and I got this toothbrush rack. Then he said, go on again, and I got this cigarette holder. I think I might start smoking again.
Oh, I shall have her all roads.
I thought Elsie Tanner had the whip hand.
Oh, we had that out with her when she started to batter at Wormel when he put the rent up. She hasn't got a leg to stand on. She left the house after July the 6th, 1957.
Aye, but she come back again.
Ah, yes, but that Mrs. Arnthwaite, you know, her with the bad leg, she moved in the meantime. Question 25. Which houses remain under rent control? Answer. Houses with rateable values of 40%. No, that's not the one. But houses which become vacant and are then let are freed from control.
Oh, Ian, I hope you know what you're up to.
I don't, but I'm learning.
Oh, but you can't put Elsie's rent up, Ina. Live and let live.
Oh, well, if you're quoting, I'll swap you. Render unto Ina the things that are Ina's. Have you ever heard that one?
No catch, Mrs. Sharples? No catch of any kind. Please feel free to dip.
Knowing you, Leonard Swindley, there'll be a mousetrap in it waiting for me. An open mousetrap.
No booby prizes, Mrs. Sharples. No booby traps.
You start giving something for an app, I expect the trap door to open under my feet.
But you're a most valued cash customer, Mrs. Sharples, albeit only to the value of 1 bobbin of cotton today. But as the purchaser of a bobbin of cotton, we should feel honoured if you would take a dip.
And what will we find in box 13? A trip to the Bahamas? Typing, well, we can have that back for now.
I'm afraid we can't give you the free run of the barrel.
All I want is 5 quiet minutes to find something that I can give cupboard room to. By gum, you're lashing it out a bit, aren't you?
Mrs. Sharples, the object is not free choice, but chance.
When I think of all the money I've dished out in this shop over 50 years, you ought to let me walk out with this barrel on my back and open the door for me.
Well, naturally, we want a nice, trusted customer like yourself to be well satisfied.
Well, I'll take this as about the best I'll get, I expect.
The long years of custom that you've given to my father and myself, Mrs. Sharples, have not gone unappreciated, nor has your long reign at the mission hall.
Don't. You're making me weep. You know, you ought to engrave this egg time for me in memory of many golden years.
How many years is it now that we've been together at the mission?
Well, I've been with you long enough to get your measure, Leonard Swindley. You know, after all I've taken from you, I ought to get a VC and bar out of that tub.
Must be all of 20.
On second thoughts, I think I'll take the lavender bag as well.
Have another scone, love. Get it down here.
Oh, no, really, Mr. F.
Well, you've hardly eaten anything.
Oh, I've got hardly any appetite at all, you'll find. You read the paper if you want to.
No, it's all right. We'll just sit here and chat, eh?
No, please feel free to. I don't mind. You reading it, I mean.
Nice to see a clean tablecloth on, though, for a change.
Was that all right for your tea? It's bean cobbler.
Been what?
Cobbler.
Oh, yes. Oh, great. Yes, fine, thank you.
Because not everybody likes it so savoury. Different people have different tastes, I find, don't you?
Oh, they do, yeah. All right.
I'm going to make you what I call luncheon meat surprise for tomorrow.
There's no need to bother with all this cooking, you know. I'm a big egg and chip man myself.
Oh, but I like to do it, Mr. F. It keeps me busy. The devil makes work for idle hands, you know.
Oh, excuse me. Ah, well, that was just the hammer.
Oh, Len, I'm terribly sorry to catch you in the middle of a meal. Good evening.
Makes no odds, Mrs. Walker. What can I do for you?
I'm Mrs. Walker from the hotel in the next street.
Oh, pleased to meet you.
What can I do for you,
Oh,
then?
it's nothing, Len, just a little rising damp in a corner of the cellar. Just thought I'd come in. Are you settling down nicely?
Yes, thank you.
Clean cloth on the table. You don't know your Vaughan. You know, Mrs.
Mrs. G.
Mrs. G, I was saying to Jack, that's my hubby and Len owner, the other day, that most men, they'd prefer to eat a meal off the top of the coal box rather than lay the table.
Well, I'll come in a bit later on, then, shall I, Mrs.
It's nice
Walker?
for you to be having something nourishing in the evening. It looks absolutely delicious.
It's bean cobbler.
Has it? Yes. You must really give me the recipe. Although, you know, whenever I try to give Mr. Walker a budget meal, he gets dreadfully finicky.
But that stewing steak costs a lot
very
of...
lucky to have someone who'll eat everything that's put in front of him. That's the way a man should be. Now, Jack, he won't eat kippers, he won't eat parsley, and it has to be best sirloin meat whenever I give him a meat dish. Oh, dear, Mrs. G, what are we going to do with them?
That's one of the best meals I've had in months.
Now, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice to be appreciated? Nice to have someone to cook for?
So they say.
Tell me, dear, did you have much experience in catering for big families? I always found that the big difficulty...
My husband's dead.
Oh, my dear. I am sorry. Oh. Still, one must look forward. You'll be good company for each other, won't you, during these winter months?
I wish I got his neck, that's all.
Nay, Stan, he's got to have somebody to look after him.
It's a typical Fairclough flanker. You get a nice little homely body to cook his breakfast, a nice little dolly to shine his shoes.
Yeah, well, jolly good luck to him. You know, there's a lot of worse things he could have spent his money on.
Oh, you're right there, Albert. I agree. I always say spend $1 on a woman, it comes back at 5 to 1.
Oh, his house we're getting just like a tip. Look, he got K-lined one night last week in Flying Horse. Me and Bill Mannish took him home. It was just as if he were living in a trench.
Aye, we'll get knee-deep in dirty vest, won't it?
There were one loaf in that pantry that had that much green mould on it, it looked like a marrow.
Hey, Jack, if I get myself a cook housekeeper, can I keep her here so as Hilda won't latch on?
Nay, it's no good dreaming, old lad.
Oh, I suppose you're right. Give us a pint.
A pint.
Oh, excuse me. I wonder if you can help me. I'm looking for a woman.
Are you? You're finding out here, lad. Try the Eagle and Oak down the road there. It gets a bit bright about 8 o'clock. It's the second on the right by the lights.
No, it's a particular woman,
Oh,
this.
what sort of woman?
Well, she's short and dark and dresses nicely.
Wrap up.
Oh, wrap up yourself.
Oh, take it to a cobbler's then.
At this time of night, I'm going dancing. Yeah, right, Rave, I'll be in this and all, won't I? Just about the only thing you can do in this is sand dancing.
Well, at least use a proper hammer.
I haven't got an hammer. I've got one pair of shoes. I've got one carpet tack. You would have thought at my age we would have moved a bit further up the social scale than that, wouldn't you, Mother?
Well, don't look at me. I'm just muck, I am.
Oh, stick, will you?
Oh, I'm trying to find somewhere to go tonight with Dot. There's no time at the pictures.
I'll go to wrestling. Go playing roulette.
I fancy going somewhere where there's a lot of fellas. I fancy just sitting there and staring somebody out.
Well, the TA have got rifle practice on at drill hall, and there's a new shift starts at Slack Collier in about an hour's time. You should get your dragon and go and sign on for one of them.
Fat lot of help you are, aren't you?
No. Oh, don't disturb yourself, Mother. I will go. Oh.
Good evening. Taking in a bit of piecework cobbling, are you? You might put some steel tips on these for me while you're at it.
Have you got strong teeth, Mrs. Sharples?
Don't be cheeky.
Well, lend them to us for 5 minutes. I'm stuck for a good pair of pliers.
Ignoring him, what is it you want doing?
You what?
You want some repairs doing, don't you? Well, I'm prepared to pay me whack.
Well, that's very nice of you, Mrs. Sharples, but I can't say I know where to start. The outside lavatory, for a start, that needs pointing. It's dripping wet. It's just like as damp as a dishcloth.
I'll send Lynne Furlong round.
Yeah, and then there's my kitchen. All round the sink, there's all that white stuff coming away like chalk.
And there's that door on landing that's warped. It's like an open drawbridge up there.
And there's something wrong with the front room fire back. A great lump of it came out the other day.
Aye, and there's all the new sash goods wanting upstairs. One of them windows nearly had me hand off.
Would you like me to build you a sunshine patio and a swimming pool while I'm at it and paper all your ceilings?
Them are all structural defects and they want doing.
Was I cribbing? Did I open my mouth?
You mean you're going to do them?
You give me a written list and I'll see they're done.
Well, don't go mad, Mrs. Sharples. I mean, sit down if you're not feeling well.
I'm feeling very well. I'm just making a rough estimate that when I've got these improvements...
Repairs, not improvements.
When I have got these improvements done, I shall be able to put up your rent by 20 shillings a week.
All I'm saying, Jack, is that she was obviously a person of no breeding whatsoever.
Now, Annie, who do you expect Len to get as a daily? Lady Docker?
Although I must say that she appeared to be a good cook in a plain kind of way.
Oh, well, he'll be all right with her. You just have to take what comes these days.
Although I do suspect her motives most strongly. I do hope that she's not trying to trap Len, you know. He's always been such a fool where women are concerned.
You know, Jack, I've been thinking, this bit of stuff he's looking for.
What lady are we referring to now, Mr. Ogden?
That chap has just gone in the gents here. His wife's taking a look and he's out looking for her.
Oh, a lot of hope he's got.
Still, it's nice to think that a man will occasionally put on his coat and go and try to find his wife when she's wandering in the city through her husband's cruelty.
I didn't want to give you that satisfaction, love. Everything comes back to him as waits.
I was just thinking, though, you know, the description he gave, it just come to me.
Well, what do you mean?
Skip it now. We were just wondering, what made you come looking for your missus round here?
Well, my sister were on a bus going down Rosamond Street, and she saw Norma get off another bus at the corner of Maudsley Street, but, well, then she lost her.
Oh, well, we'll keep us eyes skinned for you.
Yeah, well, she's sometimes gone working in pubs when she's done this before. That's really why I come in here. Any road, I'll be off.
Ah,
I might look in at lunchtime tomorrow.
right up.
What name should we say we do run across her?
Oh, Gee's my name. Harry Gee.
But, Jack...
Oh, all right, Mr. G. Good evening.
But that's the woman who's living with Len Furlong. How dare you try to silence me?
There are more in these things than meets the eye. Before I open my mouth, I'm going to find out what's going on.
You go right after that man and tell him.
I thought that were it. As we were trying to tell you when he come in at gents.
She told me she was a widow.
Ah, there you are. Now you see what I mean. We'd best find out a bit more about her before we go shooting us mouths off.
Aye. It's not her I'm worried about.
Whatever can have happened to make that woman leave him? I thought I saw suffering in her face.
It's Len Fairclough I'm worried about.
In what way?
Well, he's a bit of a tough customer, that fella. I mean, I wouldn't like to be Len if he went round there and found his wife with her feet under the table, getting stuck into a meat and potato pie.
Preachers. You call yourself preachers? I could preach the pants off a pair of you.
I'm sure your diagnosis is quite wrong, Mrs. Sharples. It's just that all denominations are contracting these days.
The missions round here would be packed like bowling alleys who got the right men to read the word. By gum, I wish they'd make me a preacher. I'd soon bring them round here back to the faith.
Yes, I'm sure you would, Mrs. Sharples, but be that as it may, the committee have decided that with our small congregations, we must cut our cloth according to the...
Look on this as a defeat, you know, Mrs. Sharples. It's just that the soldiers of the Lord are spread too thinly along the enemy's lines. We must come together, regroup.
Yes, the Bowl Street Mission Hole.
I can assure you that no final decision has been taken.
However, present opinion does incline to leaving Bold Street open. After all, it's got less corrugated iron in its structure than the Glad Tidings.
Which you've done so much with, under such difficult conditions.
Elijah Halliwell. That was his name. He was a winder up at Brew. Now there was a preacher for you. They used to stand outside on the pavement there to listen to him when he was alive. He used to put the little children on cushions at the front. He had a club foot, bless his heart, and a voice like the Archangel Gabriel.
Yes, I must admit, Mrs. Sharples, in those days when they preached, they preached. We seem to have lost the stamina.
Stamina.
The committee is very concerned about your position, Mrs. Sharples, should this mission close.
You've no need to worry about me. I'm past it. What you want to worry about are the little children round here. Coronation Street, Victoria Street,
Maudsley Street, Rugby Road, Navigation Street. And them that's not yet born. They won't be able to come round here, you know, and learn right from wrong, or what we're on this earth for if you turn this place into a roller skating rink or a meat pie factory.
It's been your home for so long, Mrs. Sharples. That's all we were thinking.
You want to worry about a few immortal souls. I can take care of my own body. Can always find alternate accommodation for that.